Tons of Gold Crypto Investing, and a quick update here as the stock market just closed. I'm trying to get something shipped out for work, so it's going to be brief. You can see today, earlier when we were down, we were talking about what the price could do today. It came up to that upper resistance, again, like we touched yesterday or this morning, or I think that was yesterday. Yeah, the 30th. And then it came back and retested it today and then got rejected. There were a lot of sellers there as there was a lot of movement back and forth in the market. The stock market was down to open. Then it was trying to get to even to slightly up, and then it was down, and Bitcoin kind of followed the same exact pattern. And you can see now where you're at. You're on the 50-day moving average in green, and if you break down from there, likely the target is the 100-day moving average in blue, which is sitting right there just above the old peak, about 31,009. And if you're trying to get bullish, you got to break above with volume. The last time, if you take a look back down memory lane the other day, when you broke above this one, you can see in a 30-minute, any time frame you go into, see as this was building right here, see that? As we get closer, the volume starts to build, and blow off top, right? And then it busted through. This one, as it was reaching the first, it was giving you a little bit of a mixed signal, but you can see it started decreasing. Like we were saying, if you want to get bullish, you got to get above this upper resistance, right, at the 32,140, and then that could initiate you to continue up. Just like you did, like we were saying back here, the volume. If you notice down there, the volume on the breakout last time, we'll take this and look at the hour time frame. But you can isolate in on this and do any hour time frame you want, and you'll see the same exact thing. What happened here, right? So you can see we zoom over here where the last video left off. I told you I was at work. You can see with our industry exclusive. Let's zoom out a little bit, or zoom in. You can see these two pumps. So we'll get our industry exclusive. This is you could say a class or a lesson, right? See on the way up, you're pumping up into this upper resistance and you hit it, and the volume's building as you come into this upper resistance. Then you stabilize, the volume declines, the price trades sideways to downish, you have one fake out to the dump, and then as you start to lean up and come back in, the volume starts to steadily, it bottoms out and then starts to pick up, massively pick up on the breakout, right? See that? Then you have your orgasmic plateau in the volume, you get way up there, and then the trade starts to trade out, right? And the trading starts, and it oozes up even higher until the price gets exhausted. And then as you ran up into this next upper resistance, you can see this time leading up to the upper resistance, after the top when you hit it, right? You came off the second time after coming through here and then starting to die out. You came up running into this with decreasing volume. You can see how you had that increasing volume in the push, right? Thank you. And then this time, as you ran up into it, right, this was your continuation through. You ran up into it, came down in your consolidation, but then as you were coming to make that run up to try to bust through it on this move, you can see the volume this time was declining, then slowly came up, but nothing real big, but it was more sell volume than anything. And then right as the apex trying to have that fortitude to bust through it right here. You see that? Right at that overhead resistance, the volume started declining, right? And so you didn't have the same kind of push with the volume. So that was an indicator that the price could possibly be rejected. And before you are to go higher, if you are to go higher, then you got to trade maybe back down to the moving averages after a nice 8, 9, 10% pump from the bottom, right? It was a pretty big move in about a day and a half span. So you might have a retracement down, right? And if you retrace down, you're going to come down to 30,761. And if you can pump up, if you can breach this overhead resistance, you can see what we drew out earlier. And right now it seems to be a little bit of a wash heading towards the downside to maybe come down to where the B is down there at 30,000, right? So that's what I'd watch out for. And then if you can break up, your 34,051 is your major overhead resistance, right? Looking at the rest of the coin, Cardano did pump. It pumped yesterday, and then it continued to pump last night and did get up into this orange support zone. And now you're trading below it. And now, if you want to get bullish, you got to get back above there and hold it as support, right? You want to hold that as support. If you can't, you're going to trade down to 51 cents or between 50 and 55 to the moving averages, and then we'll see if you can get bounced off of there, right? You might trade back down to the supply zone after a really big move. You get that relief rally where some sellers come into the market to take some profit off the table. The price has to trade out and exhaust itself before it makes its mind up to build up for the next major move. And the next major move to the upside on this coin, wow, this thing's moved so much recently. We got to zoom out. The next major move in this coin, what the hell is going on? There we go. The next major move in this to the upside would be a $1.05 at the top part of the last line of defense, aka get my shit together to the shit house that's down there in 32 cents. You can see we bounced just before it, right? And then we're trading in between those zones. So if you want to stay bullish in the 3 or 4 hour, you got to stay in that orange support zone and over that 200 day that's sneaking down almost to the price as the two lower short-term moving averages, the 50-day and the 100-day, are starting to bottom out and trend to the upside, and that could be bullish that this coin could continue to move to the upside, right? XLM, a coin that I like at the right price, even though now it's down. If this is a coin that people are asking what would be one coin that I would hold long term, XLM I would hold. I think XLM and Ethereum, right? The Ethereum network and the blockchain itself, the technology that Ethereum is, it could be something that is one of the coins you want to have on your radar after you have the massive shakeout that we may be in the middle of right now, right? Of where you start getting coins that go belly up and you get some of the garbage and some of the misallocation of capital out of the market. And then that way, so on the flip side, just like the tech sector in the 90s and early 2000s when the NASDAQ popped, all these hundreds and thousands of companies that were garbage, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds that were on the stock market had to get wiped out to clean up all the mess and all the misallocation of investing in the junk companies that were there and that were brought in with the bubble, right? And then you got the Amazons, the PayPals, the Netflixes, the Googles, right, of the world that were good companies just mixed up in the middle with their stock price going up and down. And now, 25 years later, they're the biggest companies in the world, right? But all the garbage had to get fiddled out, and most people didn't pick the right one at the very beginning. They were just throwing darts at any random thing that was out there, and that's similar. That's going on in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Is you got all these DeFi's, all these NFTs, and all these coins that are, a lot of them are nonsense, but people don't like to hear that, and they're just there in name alone, and they're just there during a hype train where people are trying to come out with projects after project and putting blockchain at the end of it to try to get a coin released to try to dump into the rally to the blow off top market to try to get some of that capital for themselves when it's not really a real project. But XLM, I feel on the flip side of whenever this multi-year bear market ends, which it actually started last year, so we still got another year. I count the first peak last year at 64,000 was the start of the bear market. And then the biggest bull trap in Bitcoin bull trap history took place a few months after, going into late summer or late fall, going into the winter time, right before it reversed. And I think after all this happens, as I digress here, XLM will be one of the ones that benefits the most out of this, even if the price goes down 90, 95%. from its all-time high at the start or at the height of the big bubble and the mania of crypto with NFTs and everything that came out. Even if this has to go down 94 to 95% down there, which it's getting close to down there. It's down pretty big right now. It got close to being down 90%, but even if it continues down for a few years and stagnates for a year, right? I think this is one that has got some long-term potential. So this actually right now on XLM is actually at 0.07 cents. I can't believe it's actually, is that really that cheap? This might be a phenomenal time actually for me to buy my first ever long-term holding of XLM. I can't believe it. It went down that much. Holy shit. Yeah, when it was 70 cents. This thing is under a penny. It can't be under a penny right now. What's it at? All right, 14 cents. I was going to say if it was under a penny, I'd be buying the shit out of it. But as a long-term holder, anything below 10 cents and below a penny, really. And people, I mean, don't see a way where they could get below a penny, but XLM could get to a penny, you know, and then you should accumulate the shit out of it. But anything now and below for long-term holding, as long as you buy now, even after a big pump, eventually in a month from now, you could be down 50% if you buy it at 14, 15, 20 cents, right? But if you're going to long-term hodl it, this is one that you guys want to know about, that you guys keep asking for and saying, I don't like this coin and I don't like that coin. XLM is one that could be very useful with its technology even after the flush. And this one has done a pretty good job flushing, right? It's down 80-something%. So it actually might not be a bad time. But I still feel like before any major rally, it's got to come down more just because of the state of the stock market. But this is one to keep an eye out on, right? You can see back in the 2017 rally, or 18, this came out right at the rally. It was up there at 46 cents and then had to come down well below a penny for quite some time, right? And then it ballooned up again. But this is one that I'm definitely going to keep an eye on and pay attention for, as one that I would recommend that you put into your basket of crypto. If the crypto is your thing, XLM is one that old Vincenzo at this current time in space and time in the sphere. I think XLM is a good one to have. I know a lot of you like XRP. I think XRP is a great way to trade with massive potential on swing trades and buying when it's down and accumulating a lot and riding big pumps because there's a lot of momentum with that. But the momentum works both ways. When the momentum's pumping, the coin can fly. But when the momentum's going the opposite way, like you're seeing now, the coin can collapse on itself, just like it did back there, and just like it's doing here. And to me, this is what XRP is. Maybe not a blockchain, according to some of you that are XRP experts, which I am not. But this coin trades with its stock, with how much float there is and how much there is in reserves, versus what Ripple puts out to dilute their own stock by billions each month. To me right now, for years and years and years, this thing is just big. It pumps, then you got to let it dump, rinse, wash, repeat, buy on the consolidation when everyone thinks it's dead, and then sell into the massive rallies, right? That's what this coin seems to be right now, just based on its setup and how they release new coins into the currency, which makes it very hard to pump the price and keep it up, because actively as the price is rising, they're replacing that supply that's coming off the market with buyers by 1 billion a month in coins, I believe it said, right? So, I mean, you're going to have that many new buyers to buy up these tokens to keep the price moving up on every pump, and it's just impossible because you have it's like having a constant seller into the market that can dump more into the market than there are buyers, right? It's not a great plan for a skyrocketing price, unlike something like Bitcoin that's restricted, that's got 21 million, that's going to take a set amount of time to release all in slowly, right? And there's a set limit. There's really no set limit to Ripple, but the amount they came out with at the original 65% are still locked up, so that acts as sell pressure. But that being said, the major upper resistance right now in XRP is 48 cents. That's where the 50-day moving average in red's filtering down to. And then if you can't hold this current line that you broke, the 33 to 35 cents is major major lower support, and the 42 to 33 cent range is a choppy area, right, within that little pattern that we're at with the wick bottom, and then you had your overhead resistance that you're breaking through now. And if this can continue to break up with volume, this could be the next coin that has a nice rally to the upside, right? So that's what we're going to be watching out for and see what's going on with it, see how this develops. Like, subscribe, and share to Vincenzo's Go Crypto Investing. Peace and love. Peace and love.